Kara didn't plan for Houston to remember her. Not like this. Not with neon lights reflecting off spilled cocktails, not with strangers whispering her name like it meant something bigger than reality TV, and definitely not with her phone lighting up every 3 seconds like it had developed its own heartbeat. But Houston remembered. Oh, Houston always remembered. It started on a humid Friday night, the kind where the air feels thick enough to sip through a straw. Kara stood outside the club, adjusting the strap of her dress, staring at her reflection in the blacked-out window of a parked SUV. "You ready?" Guillermo asked, leaning against the door with that half-smile that still caught her off guard sometimes. Kara smirked. "I was born ready." But that wasn't entirely true. Because ready wasn't the same as prepared. And she had no idea what was waiting on the other side of those doors. Inside, the music hit like a wave, bass pulsing through her chest, lights flickering like tiny bursts of lightning. The crowd was alive, moving as one organism, loud and unpredictable. At first, it felt normal. Comforting, even. Kara slipped into it like she always did, shoulders back, chin up, confidence dialed to maximum. She ordered a drink, laughed a little too loudly at something Guillermo said, and let herself believe this was just another night. Then someone said her name. Not just said it. Recognized it. Kara, from TV? She froze for half a second. That was all it took. Because half a second is enough for a moment to multiply. One person turned into 3, 3 turned into 10, phones came out, someone squealed, someone else asked for a photo, another shouted, "We saw that episode." And suddenly, Kara wasn't just Kara anymore. She was a moment. A storyline. A headline. If you missed it, someone yelled across the bar, raising their drink. Houston didn't. The crowd cheered like it was an inside joke everyone understood except her. Kara forced a smile, but something shifted in her chest. Because she knew what they meant. They weren't just talking about her being on TV. They were talking about that scene. The one that had exploded online. The argument. The words she wished she could take back. The version of herself that had been edited, amplified, dissected. And now, replayed. Over and over again. Guillermo leaned closer. "You okay?" "Yeah," she said quickly, too quickly. "I'm fine." But she wasn't. Because suddenly, every glance felt like judgment. Every laugh felt like it might be about her. And every compliment carried a question underneath it. Is that really who you are? She excused herself and made her way to the restroom, weaving through the crowd like she was trying to outrun something invisible. Inside, it was quieter, not silent, but softer, manageable. Kara leaned against the sink, gripping the edge like it might steady her. She looked in the mirror again. Same face. Same hair. Same dress. But it didn't feel the same. "Get it together," she muttered. The girl in the mirror didn't respond. "Hey." Kara turned. A woman stood near the door, arms crossed, watching her with an expression that wasn't quite admiration, but wasn't judgment either. "I didn't mean to eavesdrop," the woman said, "but it's weird, right?" Kara blinked. "What is?" "Being known," she said simply, "but not really known." Kara let out a small laugh. "That's one way to put it." The woman stepped closer. "For what it's worth. I don't think you're what they think." That caught Kara off guard. "What do they think?" The woman shrugged. "Depends who you ask. Some people think you're dramatic, some think you're strong, some think you're misunderstood. And you? "I think you're human," she said, which is way less entertaining, but way more real. Kara didn't know why that hit her as hard as it did. Maybe because it was the first thing anyone had said all night that didn't feel like a performance. "Thanks," she said quietly. The woman smiled. "Just, don't let Houston decide who you are, okay?" And with that, she walked out. Kara stayed there for a moment longer, staring at her reflection. Human. It sounded simple. But it felt complicated. When she walked back out, the energy hadn't changed. If anything, it had grown louder. More people, more attention, more expectations. But Kara had. Just a little. She found Guillermo near the bar, talking to a group of guys who seemed very invested in whatever story he was telling. "There you are," he said, wrapping an arm around her. You disappeared. Just needed a minute, she said. He studied her face. You sure you're okay? Kara hesitated. Then, for once, she didn't default to the easy answer. I don't know, she admitted. That was the moment everything shifted. Not the crowd. Not the noise. Horror. They left the club earlier than planned. Outside, the air felt cooler, even though it wasn't. The city buzzed around them, cars passing, people laughing, music spilling out from open doors. Houston was alive. And it was still watching. You want to talk about it? Guillermo asked as they walked down the street. Kara sighed. I didn't think it would feel like this. Like what? Like I'm being watched by people who already decided who I am. Guillermo nodded slowly. That's kind of what happens when your life is on TV. I know, she said, but knowing it and feeling it are two different things. They stopped at a corner, waiting for the light to change. Across the street, a group of girls recognized her again. One of them waved excitedly. Kara waved back. But this time, it felt different. Less like a performance. More like a choice. You know, Guillermo said, they only see parts of you. Kara glanced at him. Yeah. But I see all of you. She smiled softly. Even the dramatic parts? Especially those, he teased. The light changed. They crossed the street together. And for the first time that night, Kara didn't feel like she was being pulled in 100 different directions. She felt grounded. Not because the world had changed, but because she had stopped trying to control how it saw her. Later that night, back at their place, Kara sat on the couch, scrolling through her phone. Notifications stacked on top of each other. Clips, comments, opinions. If you missed it. Houston didn't. She stared at the phrase for a long moment. Then she opened her camera. Hey, she said, recording herself. No filters. No script. Just her. I've been seeing a lot of comments about tonight, about the show, about me. She paused, taking a breath. And I just want to say something. She looked straight into the camera. Not as a character. Not as a headline. As a person. I'm not perfect, she said. I mess up. I say things I wish I could take back. I get emotional. I overthink. I react. She smiled slightly. But I'm also learning, growing, figuring things out like everyone else. Her voice softened. And if you missed parts of that, that's okay. She tilted her head, a hint of humor returning.